Hey G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is that time of year again. Half the Battle Timmer has started up his G.I. Joe Christmas charity, children's Christmas charity again. Is all you need to do is make a donation of any sort to any children's charity that benefits any charity that benefits children. Anything, toys, monetary, it doesn't matter. You just need to send proof to Timmer, the Timmer Joe Christmas Charity. I'll put his website down here at the bottom of the screen, and send proof to his email, and you will be automatically entered into a drawing on his channel to win some very fabulous prizes. I have put up some good prizes this year as well. Head over to his channel for those entries. So this is something that the G.I. Joe community has been doing for the past several years, and it is an honor to be a part of that charity drive to benefit children. So anyway, thank you guys very much in advance for your donations. Last year we blew our goal out the window, just blew it right off the roof. So anyway, in advance, thank you very much. Have a great day. Hey G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. Last week we talked about the 1989 Copperhead Python Patrol version 2. That really got me thinking about version 1 of Copperhead and the water moccasin. Well, that is such an iconic vehicle to the G.I. Joe universe and to collectors. I just couldn't pass it up. I had to review it this week. I couldn't get it off my mind. It was such a big part of my playtime as a child. Of course, I didn't have it. Friends of mine did. And it was a good part of the 99% of our playtime. If it didn't go into the pool, of course we played, just pushed it around on the floor. So it was a lot of fun to play with. The problem with this vehicle, as everything is with age, this especially is notorious to break. Especially the vanes on the back, the propellers, and the control bar on the vanes, especially for the Tiger Force version, where it's made out of that red plastic. That red plastic just really grates my nerves, and I'm sure it does with a lot of other collectors too, because that is very prone to breakage too. And those little control rods, and I'll point it out as we do the review, we will those are notoriously expensive. Those were easily lost as when we played with them as children. They either broke in play through rough play and they just got thrown away, or they fell off and got lost. Or you know how kids are when you're playing, you pretend something explodes and you just take it apart, and things get lost. Especially with G.I. Joe toys, they were famous for making small parts. So I should do a Byron's Gripe section on just small parts one day. Just make up a list of stupid small parts. I might do that. I don't know. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the review. Copperhead. He was released in 1984 and came packaged exclusively with the water moccasin. And I'll pull up pictures and the blueprints of the water moccasin. And they were sold in 1985 and discontinued in 1986. In 1987, Copperhead was available in mail order from Hasbro Direct as a part of a vehicle driver, a 6-figure vehicle driver set, which included the Hiss driver, the Stinger driver, crankcase, Frostbite, and Thunder. So those figures, since they were available through Hasbro Direct, aren't necessarily really rare either. You could find a lot of those on the aftermarket, but with the Hiss driver, finding him with a good Cobra sigil is the big problem, because prior to 1985, they didn't perfect the paint on those, so the paint for the silver and gold paint, it would rub off real easy. So by 1987, I'm sure he had the upgraded paint, so you could get a very decent paint coat with that one. So he would still come with the 1983 stamp, so it would be really hard to tell if he was the 83 or the 87 version. But and those came bagged with a red back file card. And for the newer collectors, the red back file card were Hasbro Direct. They came through either Sears or Hasbro Direct, and those are very hard to find. And you could also tell if they were Hasbro Direct because in the upper right hand corner, the flag point was on a white strip instead of your standard flag point that was in the shape of an American flag. There were 2 variations of Copperhead, and I'll pull those pictures up for you too. The earlier version of Copperhead came with green paint on the helmet and gloves and legs, and the later version came with light green paint, and the variation became known as dark green gloves and light green gloves of Copperhead. The dark green glove is the more difficult one to find, so if you're a variant hunter, have fun. Naturally, the more difficult one to find is going to be a lot more expensive. So be prepared to pry open your wallet and dig as deep as you can into it. The original retail price for this was $6.49. Will we find it for that? We will find out. In Byron's Gripes, we might be lucky to find a gun for $6.49. But that was not too bad for a vehicle and driver for its day, but giving that minimum wage was around $3.25 for that day. So that was like 2 hours of work to pay for that vehicle for somebody who worked minimum wage. So if you want to look at something that way, you know, do I have to work 2 hours to pay for this? Is it worth it? You know, so that's a good way of working on, you know, purchasing something on a budget. Is it worth this many hours of work to pay for this? And that really gets you thinking. You know, so I've used that tactic too to stop myself from buying things as a kid, and even as an adult. It's like, really, do I? And wants and needs. You know, is this a want or is it a need? Can I live without it? You know, you think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Food, shelter, and clothing is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can't live without food, shelter, or clothing. You need those 3 things to survive. You don't need anything else. So if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty, we don't need anything else but food, shelter, and some form of clothing. So anyway, speech over. Let's go ahead and talk about the water moccasin a little bit. So I will pull that up on yojo.com here. Let it download. My Wi-Fi is being a bit of a wank today. All right, here we go. The water moccasin, same demographic. It was released in '84, blah, blah, blah. The water moccasin without the driver was released through Hasbro Direct without the driver from '86 to '87. So again, this is not an incredibly rare. Mouth is getting dry. Pardon me. I drank 2 bottles of water prior to this. An incredibly rare vehicle, but finding it intact is. So again, you know, gather your thoughts here, Byron. So they had an overstock of this. So they had to sell off their overstock through Hasbro Direct. So it was available through '86 and '87 through Hasbro Direct. So you could find it again through said company. And it doesn't necessarily give its price, how much it costs through Hasbro Direct. You need the little insert, the little catalog that came with the toy, or how many flag points it was worth. I wish I had that available. But I have a picture of the one that was available through, that came released in Brazil. It is very awesome. So that's, I pulled that one up. So we'll take a look at that one as well for my Brazilian viewers. It made its first Hasbro appearance in of course it was all over the Sunbow series. But it made its first appearance in the Action Force comic of May 9th, 1987, titled Swamp Strike. So I pulled up a picture of that as well. So let me go ahead and pause the camera and take a look at these pictures. I'll pull up that Brazilian picture as well. It is a pretty cool looking swamp boat. All right, so I just love the artwork on the box. You know, a lot of action in there. It had, of course, pictures of the action figures that were available. You had Cobra Commander on one side of the swamp boat. You had Destro on the other. Then you know, like Cobra Trooper. Then, of course, Copperhead piloting the swamp boat. And to make note, Copperhead is one of one of the few, I would say, not necessarily main characters that has, or one of the few characters in Cobra that has his own name. You know, like Wild Weasel. Then, of course, Copperhead, Destro, Cobra Commander, Baroness, Zartan. Well, he's not necessarily Cobra. They're their own guys. But, and Destro, he's his own guy too. But, so there are very few Cobra that have their own names. So it's kind of neat when you have your own specific Cobra figure that has its own specific name, which is pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look at this action figure and vehicle. I will let you know that mine is not in pristine shape. It's very expensive to replace these parts. This one did come unbroken. I did have it setting on the shelf, and it was knocked over at one point in time, and it broke, and it killed me. It gutted me. But fortunately, that little bar on the back didn't break. It was one of the veins that broke, and I'll just show it to you. But very expensive to replace it, and I am in no rush to get it replaced. I'm just happy to have one complete. So here we go. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the file card first. You can see it was clipped off the back of the box. It says Copperhead, file name classified, birthplace unknown, military specialty, air driver, swamp vehicle operator. It is presumed that Copperhead is native to or otherwise intimately familiar with the Florida Everglades. Intelligence source venture a guess that he raced speedboats in high-stake races in Monaco and Japan. His major weakness is gambling. Odds are that he got started by placing bets on his own races. Apparently, he compounded his folly by selling his services to Cobra in hopes of paying off his bookies. Gung Ho says, sure, I know the type. They're all around the Gulf Coast, trash drifters. They can drive a swamp buggy like the devil himself, rebuild a V8 with a coat hanger and spit, fight all night, and race cane till the cock crows. They got a heart full of gimme and a mouthful of oh much obliged. Okay. So Gung Ho knows this guy because he grew up in the Florida Everglades himself. So there's a picture of Copperhead and the cockpit. So let's take a look at Copperhead. His O-ring is very loose as well. You can see there's a little paint wear on him from a lot of play. The paint, from paint wear from moving his legs around as well. But he does have a very nice Cobra sigil on the front. Like the Python Patrol version, I aforementioned that they painted it over his skin, but he is wearing a tank top made up in light blue. He is wearing a black shoulder holster. He is wearing green driving gloves and has these light lime green armbands. The shoulder holster does go all the way around the back. This one was much loved and much played with. The rare version, this is a dark green. His helmet with the air vents and the ridge on the top are dark green. He does have a filtration mask or a breathing mask here on the front of his helmet, which is pretty cool. He's wearing, I guess these are supposed to be leather shorts to help provide a little more comfort inside while he drives, spending a lot of time inside of his swamp boat, padding on the inside of his legs. These would be a darker green along with his gloves and the armbands on the second version, which you can see that in the picture that I pulled up. He also has a holster sculpted on his left leg. His boots look like biker boots, done up in with black paint, and he has a green pad on his left out leg as well. His head does swivel from left to right, and that's it, because he's pre-1985, before they gave us that ball joint. And the screw on the back, you can see, is the original screw. It is very rusty, so that will have to be replaced once I change out his O-ring, once I find those parts. So lifting up the airboat here, you could see here on the back where it had broken off, and you could see that the fan is broken off too. It's made up of a very thin plastic, so when it fell right onto the back. The airfoil set up here on the back, you could see it is done. It snapped right off from the back here, so this whole back piece would have to be replaced, which I'm sure comes at a very hefty price. You can see that there is a little bit of weakening right here at the snaps where this clips together. The airfoils, or the fins, do rotate side to side with the help of this bar right here. This notoriously is lost or broken. It usually snaps somewhere right in here. This is made up of a soft black plastic, but with the Tiger Force version, this is a harder plastic, and it breaks a lot easier. These snap off pretty easy as well, right at the pins. I'm not going to pull it completely out, but you can see the pins right here are made up of a very thin plastic. They will snap off very easy as well, so watch out for that. You can see the very fine detail that they put into this to, give it a flare of authenticity. The fan itself turns with a thumb crank to add for a little extra play feature. Here on the back, it has removable panels for some storage. It is done up in this kind of light blue plastic that is very notorious to yellowing. You can see it is starting to yellow a little bit here on the bottom. This is just a sad truth to a lot of these toys, that they will just yellow and eventually not there's not much we could do about the prevention of aging. Here on the top, a removable engine cover. Very cool. Very cool. I like these removable engine panels. I used to have my Joes work on their vehicles a lot. There is a, right here at the bottom, this is a torpedo, a ski torpedo. The cover does remove. Not on mine. It looks like the seller glued. Oh no, I thought the seller glued this one down. That was on another version that I had. This removes, so easily lost piece. I don't know why they have it removable, but you see there's some detailing on the inside of that, so you just slide that right back on there and it snaps into place and clips onto the bottom here and snaps right onto the back, so that'll fire backwards. Very cool little sticker here. The snake firing a machine gun. Has two guns here on the front. They are not made to move. And here on the front, you see the cockpit. Let me move the turret here. I put the glass on backwards. But here inside the cockpit is the seat. Very comfortable looking seat. The floor does have a diamond grid pattern. A lot of detail on the inside there. Pretty nice. They spared no expense on detailing back in the day. Pre-1990. And it has another removable glass piece where you can, and copperhead just slides right on in there. It's a little bit harder since he's so wobbly. And just snap the additional piece right onto the front there, on the canopy, and there you go. You got copperhead on there. Then you have a turret here where you could put an extra Cobra figure in, and it has a gun on the front, so this turret could spin around. It is missing an extra handle for the gun. These break off real easy. When we flip it around, you could see that that is broken off. This pops off quite easily as well. On mine, it is on real tight, so I will not remove it in fear of breaking it. But on the front, you can see it is split. It's a almost a pontoon boat type. Somebody really played with this rough. You can see where they smashed it into something. You can see stress marks all over this. Looks like it was taken apart a few times. Here on the bottom, it says Hasbro Industries Incorporated, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 1984. And there's some scuff marks on the bottom from a lot of rough play. And the canopy just fell off. But a lot of great detail on this. So here on the sides are 2 foot pegs for additional figures to ride on, and another figure here, so you could have 2, 3, 4 figures riding on this very fine piece of Cobra equipment. And again, this falls off quite easily. a nice little accessory that's easy to lose but hard to replace. That's one thing that like I mentioned before, Hasbro is great about the small details. It made for a lot of fun play, but it also made it notoriously hard to replace these pieces for future generations. I don't think they really gave it much thought that these toys would be so loved and cherished and collected and saved for the future like they are today. Or maybe they did. Who knows? But they had these pieces that were small and incredibly hard to replace, especially now with collectors really getting out there and trying to restore their childhood memories and rebuild those dreams. Even stored in a plastic bag, this thing getting dusty. Wow. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue. All right. So yeah, as I was saying, that these smaller pieces of, was there forethought of us, as adults wanting to collect these again and play with them or restore them as adults? Who knows? The chances of that is very highly unlikely. But whatever thought may be, I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm glad that there are so many people out there that are still collecting toys. I rarely talked about this. For a long time, I was ashamed that I collected toys as an adult. I didn't talk about it, but as I got more and more into the toy community, I started realizing that there are more and more adults that were collecting toys. And I thought, hey, toys aren't just for kids. Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. No, that didn't apply. I enjoy tricks. I don't think they make them anymore, actually, but they still make toys. And they're making them more towards adults because we are the ones collecting them. So it's something that I thoroughly enjoy doing. It's a very nice hobby to have. It's relaxing. It's sort of therapeutic in a way. It's stress relieving. But it's also brought me closer. I've made a lot of friends through the collecting community. A lot of very cool people like you guys who are watching my channel. So thank you guys very much for joining this channel and for becoming such good friends. So I really appreciate you for that. My childhood memories of this, I briefly shared playing with this. I do remember seeing it on the toy shelves and really wanting it because I played with it so much as a kid, and it went into the water. So anything that I could play with in the bathtub, you bet I wanted it. Anything I could take into a swimming pool, you bet I wanted it. But my parents were saying, no, it's too much. You're collecting Star Wars. We don't want you to have too many toys. We don't have enough room for it in the house. So that's what it is. They just wanted to limit how many toys we had. because we had such a large family, and they just didn't want a bunch of junk laying around the house. So when Star Wars died out, Masters of the Universe came in, and then when that one died out, G.I. Joe became more and more prominent. Of course, we had a few G.I. Joe here and there, but just as one toy line died out, we got into more and more. So, but yeah, it was something that I remember seeing at that grocery store. I talked a lot about Smitty's. Saw it at Children's, or not Children's Palace. That was back east. Lionel Play World. I remember seeing it there. Another very small is a privately owned toy store called Toys by Roy. That was at Fiesta Mall in Mesa, Arizona. I remember seeing it there. So, pretty much anywhere they sold toys, it was there, and it was just constantly in our faces, and this was one that I desperately wanted. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into my favorite topic, or my favorite segment of Byron's Gripes. For those of you who are just joining, or those of you who have just stuck with me through this, all the way through here, demographics on this channel show that you guys watch on a average of 8 minutes. So thank you for that, for sticking with me through the first 8 minutes. I could understand why you do that. I do that too with other channels. But for those of you who stick with me all the way through, thank you very much. Byron's Gripes is a means of entertainment as well as education, to give you guys an idea of what to expect as collectors, as new collectors, what to expect in toy prices, as well as what I think are good prices and bad, just on my opinion. Everybody's budgets are different. I don't do it to pick on eBay or the sellers. There are so many different websites out there that sell toys, but I strongly suggest that you go to your local vintage toy store or comic book shop that sell toys, because you're supporting your local business, a small business, and that is really important. You're helping a neighbor out, and you're keeping your tax dollars in your state, and you're keeping a small business open, which personally to me is really important to keep small businesses thriving. So anyway, here we go. Here is one that looks like it is incomplete, for $21 or $29.99. That comes, I'll pull up the picture here. I want to see. Yeah, it is missing a lot of parts. It has a lot of broken parts. It is missing the rear assembly. The vanes are broken on it. Comes with the driver, the more common driver. It's $29.99. That is definitely a build on a budget one. The more common driver, $9.99 or $9. Here is a copperhead for $7.99 or better offer. Here's one, $39.99. That comes with the blueprints. Let's pull up that picture. I wish I had a green screen so you guys could see this behind me, but I do not have all that fancy technology. I like to try to keep things simple around here. Comes with the blueprints. I love the blueprints. You could really display them and make something nice out of it. You could frame them and everything. This one is complete, but the vanes are broken. So is the little bar on the back. But you could drill little holes in those and put a staple or a small wire through that and glue it together. Toy Polloi has neat little hacks on how to do that. You could use a little pin drill and drill holes through that. Comes with the more common driver. This one's $39.99. I'm going to put that up with Deal of the Day, even though it has those broken parts. But you know, even with those broken parts, Deal of the Day for that one. That is a smoking deal for that. $39.99. Here's one, $49.99 with the driver. Everything is complete and intact. Comes with a figure stand. He wants $13.40 for shipping. Looking at everything, you know, I am going to call this Deal of the Day too. That is actually a very nice looking specimen. Deal of the Day. Here's one for $59. Little too pricey for my wheelhouse, pun intended. This one is incomplete. It says 100% complete, but it's missing the torpedo. It is not 100% complete. I could be one of those people and email him saying you're missing the torpedo, but I'm not going to do that because that's just a schmuck thing to do. And it even has a complete rod on the back. So $59.99, still little pricey for me. Here's one, $81.50. It's complete, but it has the Python Patrol file card with it. No, that's just a little bit too expensive. Here is another one that is complete. It even has the little catalog that comes with it, $60. Again, very expensive in my taste, even though it does have the blueprints and everything. It's just a little much. Here's one that comes boxed, has the original price tag on it, which I think is cool. I like seeing the original price tags on things. Uncut. The file card is still attached to the box. Everything is unbroken. Or I should say intact. The more common driver. $250 for a boxed vehicle. You know, if you're a boxed collector, I'm going to put that on the low end of okay, but I still won't call it Deal of the Day. Here's another one that's missing the driver, but the vehicle itself is complete, $60. That's still a little pricey. Here's one complete with the driver, $55. $17.65 for shipping. No, that's just a little much. Here's one with the box, $2.25. That's, I don't think so. Here's that's auction. Here's the engine cover, $2.96. Here's a storage compartment container, $2.34. Here's the main canopy assembly, that the front part of the canopy, $7.34. Another copperhead for $14.99. No, that is way too expensive. As aforementioned, he was very well available even through Hasbro Direct. I think not. Here's a complete water moccasin for $70. I think not. Here's the seat for $2.34. Okay, I don't know of too many missing seats. Here's one 100% complete, $115 or best offer. Thank you so much for softening that blow, sir. You are so wonderful for making that blow. Oh, thank you, but I'm still not going to give you $115 for it. Here's a broken water moccasin, missing the waist piece, $5.50, but that would be great for parts. Here's one that's incomplete, $29.84. That would be a build on the budget. Here is one that looks in pristine shape. My gosh, let's pull up a picture on that one. Wow, very nice color on that one. Hardly any yellowing. I mean, that's blue. Mine is yellowed. This one is blue. All the foot pegs are broken off, but nonetheless the color is very nice. Sir, if you're going to advertise this, please dust it. No, it's not 100% complete. It's missing the torpedo, but nonetheless, $25 in that condition. I would go for that. Oh, here we go. It's graded. Oh, you guys know how I love these AFA grades. $8,499 with an AFA grade of 80 plus. I just lost more hair over that one. Here's a copperhead with a file card, $23.74, reduced by 5%. Wow. Thank you very much for being so generous by reducing it by 5%. You could keep it. $80 for one, 100% complete with blueprints. No. Oh, here is the wheel, $2.34. Here is the main assembly, the circular assembly for the rear piece, $10.16. Here's the turret, $2.34. A complete torpedo. Okay, like I said, this one's going to cost a little bit, $14.99. I will put that up with deal of the day. Here's another one that is 100%. No, it's not. It's missing the canopies, both parts of the canopy with a broken copperhead. $59.99 or better offer, but still, broken copperhead. You could replace the leg. Now I'm not going to give that deal of the day. Here's one that's missing a lot of parts, $16.99. That's built on a budget if you want. So I'm not even going to give that I'll give that a deal of the day. Here's a engine mount, the engine compartment cover, $3. Here's one 100% complete, $95. $8.55 shipping. Thank you for being so good on the shipping, though. Thank you. I really appreciate that one. Comes with a incomplete. The torpedo is missing the plastic cover on it. It'll be much cheaper just to buy a complete torpedo. Finding the plastic cover for that, the clear cover, would be very expensive to find. not saying it would be hard. It'll be very hard to find. I'm saying it'll be expensive to find. $95 for that. Thank you, no. Here is one, $89, 100% complete. Here is a parts list, and all the best parts I'm sure are missing by now. Blueprints, $12.99. I'll put that up with deal of the day. Here's the main canopy that you snap on after you put the driver in, $8. I'll put that with deal of the day. Here's another one, $7.99, deal of the day. The seat, why the seat isn't a commonly missing piece? Why are people selling it? But they are, $7. That's a little bit extravagant for the seat. Here is one that comes with all the, it's 100% complete with all the boxed inserts, the little catalogs, blueprint, file card, $150, deal of the day, all day on that. That is fantastic. Thank you very much. That is great. Here's one, $49.99 with a bunch of broken parts, but it does have the bar complete, so that's kind of a, here's a broken vane. It's missing one of the little tabs on it. $12.95. I will not go for that. Copperhead, $18. Here's a, oh, that's auction. Engine mount, engine cover, $29. Engine cover, $4.99. Again with the seat, but this one, $19.50, marked down by 30% from $27.86. What are you thinking? This part does not come out. You have to take the whole boat apart just to pull the seat out. This is not a rare or missing piece, a piece that breaks easily. Come on, just because it says G.I. Joe doesn't mean it is rare. Oh my gosh. Here is a complete vane, $14.99. It is unbroken. Deal of the day. Copperhead with a file card, $39.99 or better offer. No. Okay, here's a complete torpedo, $39.99 or $14.36. Thank you. $29.99 for a copperhead, $5.99 for a file card, $34.99 for file card and blueprint. You could keep it for that price. And it just goes on and on and on. $8.99 for a complete torpedo or better offer. Deal of the day, all day long. Ding, 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 ding. Thank you, sir. Okay, this is what I was looking for. The little bar that goes on the back of it, $18.99. So I told you it's going to be pretty pricey for that. This is not a very rare toy, guys. I mean, there are pieces, parts, bits and bobs, nooks and crannies, whatever you want to call it. Blueprints, $12, deal of the day. People, what is it with you guys in the seats? There's like 12 seats I've seen so far. I have not yet seen the rare copperhead. I recant. I will eat my words on this. This is for the torpedo. The green, okay, this shows that I'm not I am learning as we go here. This is for the little cover for the torpedo, and you can see that I'm not making it up. $2.99 for the little cover for the torpedo. I thought that thing would be completely expensive. I honestly thought it would. That is freaking awesome. Honestly, that is very awesome. Here's another one, $4.50. Another one, $2.99. I will gladly eat my words and recant that. Seriously, that shows that I am not the expert on this. I stand corrected and humbly do so. Another one, $3.99. And here I was thinking it is such a small piece, such a easily lost piece, and that piece was. And here's another one, $3.49. You know what, you guys? I eat my words. I humbly apologize. I most sincerely and humbly apologize to you guys for that. That is, wow. I am smitten, gobsmacked, and brought to my knees. That is incredible. That really is neat, guys. I really wish people could stay through to that part and watch that. By the way, there were 21 pages for this, so it's not a rare toy. Again, hey, thank you. I am sorry. I do apologize for saying that that would be a very expensive piece. It is very, 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 very inexpensive. And the shipping costs on that are more than the piece itself. So thank you very much for watching this show. It goes to show you that I'm not the expert. I'm learning as I go, just as you guys are. Did you just see that white? That is the second time that has happened in 2 weeks. Okay. Anyway. Wow. There's something in this house. Anyway, you guys, thank you for watching the show. I learn as I go, just as you guys are. This is just as educational for me as it is for you. Wow. I'm still trying to get over this. So I really appreciate all of you. You guys are a great group of people. Remember, in conclusion, that we're getting into cold and flu season, so please wash your hands. Remember to be kind to yourselves. Be kind to everyone around you. You never know what kind of day somebody is having. Be kind to your animals. They know nothing but unconditional love. This is Joe Motion 82. Joe Motion Videos 82 signing off. You guys take care. Have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. What a show this ended up being. Wow. I am just thrilled. Great show.